Understanding consumer decisions is the key to growing your brand. But what influences these choices? We created a measurement framework that leverages the latest thinking on the triggers that drive consumer choice decisions. In this mini-series, join effectiveness expert Les Binet from Adam & Eve DDB and global brand consultant Hilary Gaines from Metrics Lab as they unpack the 3 key components you need to tackle the full ecosystem of brand influences: emotional resonance, mental availability, and physical availability. In this episode, we chat about physical availability and the importance of making sure your product or service is easy to buy.
I'm Hilary Gaines, and I'm one of Metrics Lab's global brand consultants.
I'm Les Binet. I'm Head of Effectiveness at Adam & Eve DDB, an advertising agency in London.
So for brands to compete for buying occasions, the key marketing task is, of course, to make a brand easy to buy. And this does require building both mental and physical availability. So a good share of mind, but also an easy purchase transaction for the consumer. You've seen this, Les, I assume, in digital purchasing now.
Yeah, well, I guess actually probably I see it most as a consumer, really.
Yeah.
But because we all know we're busy people, and we if a brand is hard to find or hard to buy, you can very quickly give up. I think actually online shopping has probably really raised the stakes because it's raised people's expectations. Yeah. I tend to expect that if I want something, I can buy it at 11 p.m. while I'm wandering around my bedroom in my pajamas and have it the next day.
I know, it's a whole new world, isn't it?
Mm.
So in online and e-commerce, it's becoming increasingly important. How's that changed over recent years, and especially through the COVID pandemic?
Well, I mean, physical availability has always been absolute. It's if you like, it's so important that it's easy to miss. It's like people can't buy your product if it's not available. So it's the thing you need before anything else, because none of your other marketing will work if people can't easily buy your product. So it's not more important than ever, but I think perhaps maybe the expectations of things like speed and ease have increased.
No, but essentially it's just simply saying that the easier a brand is to buy for more people in more occasions, they're going to get bought more often. So For us, it's all about the consumer effort, the ease of the purchase transaction. So how easy is it to find and buy a brand or to do business with a brand? Because if it's perceived as difficult, then potential sales are lost. And the other thing we have to think about is, what other sorts of influences could potentially impact on consumers' perception of that ease of purchase? And what we find is that really varies by category, covering influences such as the range of product or the service options, the price or price promotions, value, pack sizes, as I mentioned earlier, website functionality, payment schemes for higher ticket purchases. There's so many different complex influences that could logically impact on that perception of ease of purchase.
And people often forget timing and speed.
Yes.
Even in the world of bricks and mortar, you can increase your distribution. Even if you're in 100% of the retailers, you can increase your distribution by simply changing your shop opening hours. And if you're on Amazon, you can get a bit of a lead by offering, next day delivery.
Or even same day delivery.
Yeah.
Actually, what we found interestingly, you mentioned the travel category, we found that physical availability was, and in this context, it was the perceived ease of booking a holiday online.
Yeah.
And that was the most important contributor to equity in the category.
Yeah.
So for our client, to challenge and to protect their market leadership across Western Europe, we were able to demonstrate the need to make it easier for people to book online with improved website navigation and functionality.
Yeah, those sort of things are massively important.
And then, of course, in store, CPG brands, should worry about whether or not their brands and variants are distinctive. Are they easy to recognize and distinguish from others? And if not, advertising can't really work hard for their brand and consumers won't see you on the shelf.
Yeah, so distinctive brand assets are part of the glue between the mental availability and the physical availability.
Yes, that's true. That's true. And in fact, we had a recent example where a client in the alcohol beverage category was really struggling to stand out versus the incredibly well-known and instantly recognized lager brands, which I'm sure you know which ones I'm talking about, by identifying the potential of one of their brand assets and helping them to make more of this asset on a new pack design and in new advertising campaign materials, they've actually grown their penetration. So like I say, it's a bit of a glue, that distinctive asset.
So those assets ideally should, they should stand out in the brand piece when you're building up the mental availability. Yeah. They should stand out in the activation piece so that when you see a piece of activation, you evoke all those lovely brand memories, and they should stand out on the shelf, whether that's a digital shelf or a real shelf, so that when you're at the moment of buying, you can immediately identify. It's the distinctive assets carry you right the way through that process.
That's very true. Very true.